Yo, what up? E3, day 2? Day 3? Day 4? I don't know how all this lays out because of Summer Game Fest. Looking through the schedule, all the press conferences for companies I care about are done. So in this video, I'm only going to really cover Xbox and, oh god, Square. Unlike the Summer Game Fest video I did, I'm not going to talk about every game that was announced or shown off. I only took notes for some of the games. This was because I assumed Square would show games. Because if I did it like I did the Summer Game Fest video and I covered every single game from both press conferences, it probably would have been like 40 minutes. Let's start with Square Enix's first.
What the hell is that?
Square, look at me. Are you looking? Good. That was one of the worst press conferences I've ever seen. You opened well. When you first showed the trailer for the Guardians of the Galaxy game, I wasn't too interested in the idea. I feel like Guardians of the Galaxy is getting a little oversaturated right now. This is the second game we're getting of them. You shouldn't have talked for 20 minutes about it. But looking at this event in hindsight, I'm happy you did. As they talked more and more about the game and then went into that long gameplay demo, I realized that this game is actually going to be pretty good. I just got the vibe of like a Mass Effect game that was a bit more action oriented. I think one of my friends put it perfectly where this seems like a good mix of Mass Effect and Uncharted. My problem with this announcement is that this is most likely the best thing they showed off at this event, and I don't see myself picking this up day one. I'll probably pick it up on Boxing Day. But I am really excited for it. I feel like this is going to be a bit of a smaller game from Square that's going to do very well for them. Ban mobile games from E3, please. They definitely talked about way too many. The only ones that I'm remotely interested in are the remakes for FF1 to 6. If all of them are in the style of that one Dragon Quest game that's getting remade, that is perfect. These remakes need to be the definitive way to play those older Final Fantasy games. If they're not, they have failed. Why no Switch port too? I probably won't get any of them when they come out. The only one I could see picking up around its launch window is Final Fantasy VI. I don't think Avengers showed off anything new. I'm pretty sure we knew about everything you were talking about. Why are you here? Please leave. I forgot what the name of that Babylon game is from. Time to check their Twitter. Oh my god, the Final Fantasy Dark Souls game is called Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin? Oh, that's such a bad name. Babylon's Fall looks like it could be really good, but I would need to see a longer demo of the game to sell me on it. The Final Fantasy Dark Souls game probably would have been bigger if that didn't get leaked ahead of time. Honestly, a lot of my excitement for this game is the fact that it kind of just confirms to me that 16 isn't a Souls-like. When 16 got revealed, I saw some people saying it could be a Souls-like, which, as someone who doesn't play a lot of those games, got me a little worried. But after rewatching the trailer, it does look more like a character action. And Square even hired the battle director from DMC5. Final Fantasy 16 is definitely a character action, but this game existing proves to me that it's even more so going to be a character action. I didn't even take notes for Life is Strange. You did not need to talk about this game that much. Like, I feel like what you showed off, you could have just talked about when you had that big event for the game a few months back, and B, wasn't enough to have its own spotlight for such a bad event. The only thing I have extensive thoughts for outside of the Guardians of the Galaxy game are games and series that didn't show up. Where's Final Fantasy 16? What's Kingdom Hearts up to? This is the first time in a very long time that we don't have an idea of what the future of Kingdom Hearts looks like. Where's that one game I can't remember the name of that uses the Final Fantasy 15 engine? Where's Forspoken? I know there are rumors of a state of play happening next month, and if those are true, I fully expect to see Final Fantasy 16 there. If we do, I feel like we might get a date and those rumors of it coming out this year are true. And if it's not at that state of play, I don't think we're getting that game this year. Even if it is coming out this year, it feels dumb that Square didn't talk about it at this E3. The only way I can see that showing up at a state of play and not here is if Sony has marketing rights to the game and Square is just letting them advertise it so they don't have to do any of it. Oh my god, let's just move on to the good press conference. I think the Xbox and Summer Game Fest event are very similar, where they both casted a very large net, but I feel like Xbox had bigger games compared to it. At the very least, it has more stuff I care about. Starting the show, we had a game I was confident we wouldn't see that much of at this event if it showed up. Starfield. I am very surprised we got a date for Starfield. The most I was expecting from this game was a CG trailer. All we really saw was a CG trailer, but we got a date. It makes me think that development is progressing very smoothly for the game because they're confident to announce a release date that's a year and a half away. Like, realistically, the most we got about it was what Todd Howard was explaining beforehand. And I know that Todd is a smooth talker, but I was buying what he was saying. I need to see more of this game, but at the very least, for its premise, I am down. And Microsoft didn't spend billions of dollars on Bethesda for them to release a broken game. I find it really funny how Xbox has been doing the Yakuza Game Pass announcements, because with every single one, they tell you what games are already on Game Pass, and then they're like, now we got Yakuza 7, baby. That's all. I just find it funny. Contraband is a game we didn't really get a whole lot about. It was just a CG trailer, which happened for a few games at this event, but just the promise of a co-op heist game from Avalanche Studios makes me very excited. I literally pitched a co-op heist game in my way out video. It's probably not going to be like the game I envisioned in that video, but if it's just a good co-op heist game, I am so down for it. Shame it was just a CG trailer though. Psychonauts 2 looks like a blast. I really need to play the first one though. I feel like this game might live up to the hype that its community has for it. Atomic Heart looks weird, but so fun. I feel like this game might be a sleeper hit. It's mostly because I feel like I know nothing about it. Given how weird it seems, that might be a good thing. Definitely a day one Game Pass download for me. I missed a lot of the Ascent trailer while I was watching the event. Looking back at it now, Cyberpunk dual stick shooter, I am very down for. It's hype that Age of Empires 4 exists. I'm not the biggest fan of sim racers. What they showed up for Forza Horizon does look really fun now. I probably won't get it, but I can see this being one of the best games in the series. I was not expecting The Outer Worlds 2 to be announced. I was prepared to not see this game until after they finished their fantasy game. I'm so happy it's here. I like the trailer. It was a shame it was only CG though. Like how it felt like a call-out tweak to the entire video game industry. Even if you don't care about this game, I recommend looking up the trailer because it was pretty funny. I just wish we got a bit more, but it's nice to know it exists. Redfall would be a better One More Thing game at a Bethesda event than an Xbox event. I feel like it just hits a little light for Xbox. I know that studio has made some very good games, but maybe because it's a new IP from something that is a smaller team compared to everything else Xbox has, I'm just feeling this way. The trailer was really good though. Shame it was CG. I like the vibe this game was going for, but I need to see gameplay for it. Come on, guys. I think that was the biggest problem with this event. There was one too many CG trailers. Honestly, I would have expected a new Gears of War game to be the One More Thing announcement, but from what they showed off, I think Halo should have been the last game, which is why I was saving it for last. Square, you me so hard on this video. Didn't take enough notes and didn't take enough mental notes. Let's start with the part of Halo Infinite I have the least to say about. The story trailer. I like what was presented to us. I'm a sucker for long takes. At the end of the trailer, it seems like it's going to flow into gameplay from the long take, which just seems cool. I really hope it does that. And I saw a lot of people memeing that we got Cortana too. I feel like her and the multiplayer buried the most important thing shown off in the story trailer. The game's lighting looks way better. I remember after the first reveal of Infinite, Digital Foundry made a video explaining why it looked so rough. They chalked it up to the lighting being bad and them not saying it was a way older build of the game. Coming out of that last trailer, I was cautiously optimistic for the game. Now, I am confident in this game. I feel like this multiplayer could be really fun. I'm going to break down that trailer, but first I want to talk about Sprint's place in Halo. It's a pretty big debate in the community, mostly because of Chris Reagan's video on the topic. I feel like a bit too many people just say Sprint is bad and move on from it. Sprint isn't inherently bad in Halo. It's the repercussions of Sprint and how 343 handled those that were bad. At least in Halo 5, it led to maps being more empty to account for the enhanced mobility. And along with that, we got more guns that were hit scan and guns that tracked players more. But if the maps aren't as empty, and there isn't as many hit scans and tracking weapons, Sprint is fine in Halo. Take Halo Reach for an example. If those two issues aren't a thing, then there's nothing wrong with a faster paced Halo. Now let's actually look at what they showed in the trailer. The grappling hook looks so fun, and it's great that it's a consumable piece of equipment because it doesn't make everyone inherently broken. And I love the possibilities they showed off for it in this game. Got a quick enhanced movement option. You can pick up weapons off of enemies after you've killed them. You can hijack vehicles with it. That looked so fun, dude. You can use it to pick up fusion coils and toss it at enemies. Just imagining situations where you can use that in makes me think that this game will have a sandbox. It feels like it can be used in a variety of interesting situations, and I'm super excited to see what they do with it. A very underrated use of it is going to be picking up, let's say, like a rocket launcher from an enemy you just killed. It kind of keeps the pace of the match going for the player. So instead of having to go over to the dead body and pick it up, you can quickly just look at it, zip it towards you, and run back into battle. The other equipment they showed off looks really neat. That little beacon thing looks like a fun counter to camping around corners. And I liked how they showed an offensive use for the shield in the trailer, like deploying it so someone shoots it with a rocket, killing the guy you dropped it in front of is hilarious. The reflect looks like it can be the most broken out of all the equipments, unless it's a really small window to do it. I hope it doesn't work for every projectile in the game, and it has a good bit of ending lag, so it punishes the player for missing it. I know if I do what the guy did in this trailer and reflect a plasma pistol, and then get a headshot with my battle rifle on him, I'm going to pop off so hard. And I like that they showed a guy getting stuck while zipping across the map with the grappling hook. That feels like one of those moments in a shooter where you see you can line it up and you quickly do it because it's such a small window to land it, and you do it and it's so hype. He missed that plasma grenade 100%. That was a very suspicious cut. I like how much the oddball people up in this game. I don't know if it was like that in Halo 5, but that makes it feel so powerful and satisfying. Halo's always had great ragdolls. Weapons seem more bouncy in this game. In my time with Halo, I don't think I've seen a gun fly as far as it did from a grenade like the energy sword does in this trailer. Which is good because those plays are always so hype when it happens. While I was going through the trailer again and taking my notes, I thought of a scenario that I can't wait to see happen in the game. Player A throws a grenade at energy sword, launches it towards him. Player B sees that, quickly uses his grappling hook to snatch the sword out of the air and pull it towards him, and then goes in to stab player A. I think some of the best types of games are games that have such a concrete rule set that if you know the game well enough, you can imagine scenarios and they'll actually work. The fact I'm able to think of that based off of one gameplay trailer makes me think they've created a very good sandbox for this game. And it makes sense because I don't think I've heard 343 talk about a Halo game sandbox this much during its development. I am so excited for this game, dude. Holy shit. If the multiplayer in this trailer is as good as it's making it seem, I feel like this might be one of the best Halo multiplayers. They released an article on Halo Waypoint talking about the multiplayer after this trailer, and there's one line I want to share with you guys, because I think it speaks to how much 343 is trying in this game. Halo Infinite Sandbox is punctuated by the addition of Halo 3-esque equipment. I feel like this is just language we didn't get with Halo 4 and Halo 5 from 343. We're going to get a good Halo game, aren't we? Why didn't you announce a beta though? I think that's the only thing I'm upset about from this press conference. But even then, I can't be too mad because the multiplayer trailer was very good. But I have to factor in the inherent problem with all multiplayer trailers. The scenarios that you see in them probably happen like once every 10 matches at least. But when you do get into those scenarios, the game is at its best. Well, that is it for Xbox's press conference. Overall, I think it was the best one they've had since I started watching E3 in like 2010. They casted a wide net with their announcements, and I think that's really the key to get a good presser. I feel like a lot of the games that created that large net for Microsoft hit harder than the games that created it for Keighley at Summer Game Fest. At the top, I'm going to put Xbox in A tier and expect a whole lot from them, so that's probably one of the reasons why it's so high. It was pretty hard to guess what they were going to talk about at this event, and I feel like what they showed off was all good. Like, even if I didn't care about the game, I never got bored. Next in the tier list would be Summer Games Fest at a B. I found Xbox's event and Summer Game Fest's very similar, but I think the key difference is there were times where I got bored during Summer Game Fest. All the way down in F, I'm putting Square Enix's press conference. And then in the Ubisoft didn't announce Rayman tier, I'm putting Ubisoft's event. If I cared about Assassin's Creed, Watch Dogs, Far Cry, Rainbow Six, I feel like I would have really enjoyed Ubisoft's thing. But all I really got out of it was Mario and Rabbids. Like, realistically, I'd probably give it a D. I am a fan of Square Enix's, and I am very disappointed with what they didn't show off. Square, I'm sorry, you have failed E3 2021. You're going to have to repeat this year and watch all your friends graduate and go to E3 2022. Do you agree? Think I'm an idiot? Comment down below. Dislike the video if you're here to kill chaos.
Chaos.
And subscribe for more bad content. Follow me on other platforms if you want. Take care, guys.